Okay, and I believe we are live. Welcome back to Saskatchewan Junior Provincials. My name is Ryan Parent, and joining me is Sarah Hogue. How you doing, Sarah?
Hi, I'm well. How are you?
Good.
That is great. That is great. We're just tuning in here on the first end. Right now, it looks like we're on third stones. Taylor versus Kesslering. This should be a great game. These two teams have come up against each other in a lot of U18 women's and junior events this year and in past years. So excited to see how this game goes. Taylor curled this morning against Kleider, and it was an extremely close game right up until the end. And we had some incredible shot making from both teams. So really excited to see what these two teams have to offer today. Looks like Kesslering's playing for the potential double. Even if she gets a hit and roll here, that's going to be a really good shot. Calling for the sweep to hold the line there. Oh, now looking to make it curl. Great hit and roll. Looks like she's playing for the double here. Even just the stick will do the trick. Did not mean to rhyme that. And it'll be a steal of one for Taylor.
CURLSASK is proud to announce Friday, January 27th as the Affinity Credit Union Curling Day in Saskatchewan. We reached out to Saskatchewan for help with creating a new t-shirt design for this special day. We received over 20 submissions from people all over the province. But there could only be one winner. Congratulations to Amy Fredette from the Estevan Curling Club. CURLSASK is so excited to use this design for our Provincial Day of Curling on January 27th.
There's no doubt running any kind of farm comes with day-to-day challenges. We built a new facility 2 years ago. Technology has totally revolutionized dairy farming. Sask Milk gives us the tools to provide high quality standard of milk, making sure our equipment is all well taken care of, make sure that those animals are housed and cared for appropriately. They continue to push us with their standards to make sure that it just gets better and better.
Today, online bullying is more common than ever, but there is help. SaskTel wants to solve this problem. It's why they created Be Kind Online. If you're a victim of online bullying or know someone who is, or even if you just want to stop it from happening to anyone, this is a place to learn what you can do. You can find lots of tools and tips to help you stand up to cyberbullying. Be Kind Online is a place to learn how to stay safe as well, to learn best practices and plans to stop cyberbullying before it even has a chance.
And we're back here in the second end. Just to update everyone, Taylor did steal one in the first, so the score is 1-0. Here we see one of Kesslering's rocks kind of just in the back, just outside of the rings. And we have Taylor with a rock in the forefoot and a guard touching center. It looks like Kesslering is coming in to bump that red Taylor stone out of the forefoot and through the rings. I'm sorry if you hear any meowing in the background. That's just my cat Cher. She loves watching curling too. Now, the rock that was on the center line was knocked off of the center line, but will not go back as the juniors this weekend are not playing with the new no-tick rule. That might come into play in the future, but at this point, it hasn't been implemented at the junior level. The stone looks a little heavy for the original intended purpose, but the sweepers are bringing it behind the one in the forefoot, and it was swept to the back 12. So you'll see on the backboards that both teams have their coaches out on the ice with them. If this is the first game you are watching this weekend, we will just let you know that for junior curling, the coaches can be on the ice as part of a consultation / timeout process instead of behind the glass. And instead of 2 timeouts per game, curlers are using thinking time, and the coaches can intervene with advice on the game with that thinking time being used. Now, many of the teams are using this as part of like a checking in or a strategy to keep everyone on track. And I think it's really helped improve the confidence level of a lot of junior curling teams. And I know for myself, I would absolutely love to have that in women's, because there's some times where you just want to look back and see a little thumbs up or something to know you're on the right track. So yeah, it's great to have the coaches out there. And if you ever see the coaches interacting with the players in that way, that's why. Great sweep by the sweepers. I'm not too sure who shot from my angle, but we see that Kesslering, oh, and they're going back to consult with the coach. All right, so the call is to go after that red stone that was just thrown. It is only partially buried, so this should be a relatively straightforward shot here. But the team does have to keep in mind that yellow guard that's just somewhat in the way. A big sweep here. Clean, and we see the broom. Nice toss. Looks like Taylor is looking at going after the one in the corner, the yellow in the corner, and looking to roll under either on top of the yellow in the forefoot or under the yellow guard, both being relatively good options. This looks a little bit warm for what the team is hoping to do. However, it might catch that back red one, and it does. And we see some consultation with the coach there as well. So when one team is consulting with their coach, the other team can consult with their coach as well. As I mentioned, it's thinking time and not running time. So your time clock still ticks just as it would if you were discussing the shot with your teammates, and no timeout clock is used in that instance. And a big sweep there to try to get that yellow one out as much as possible, but Taylor's team was able to hit and roll on top of the yellow, so they're all three of their stones right now are protected by yellow stones behind them. Kesslering is opting to draw to the pile of red stones there and take advantage of those behind T-line rocks. Sweepers are cleaning and sweeping, so it must be good weight here. I think they're having to keep the line. And they just rub off the red and are about half a foot from the red Taylor stone. So the Taylor team consults on what they were going to do, looking at what they were going to do. Here it looks like they're going to pick out that yellow stone that the Kesslering team just threw. Now, if it catches their back red one, it's not the end of the world. The back red one may also go on to the yellow that's just hanging around there in the back of the house. Stones coming down. We've got the call to hold the line. Some great sweeping. And they successfully pick it out. And yes, that red one does jam on the yellow, making Team Taylor first shot, second shot, and fourth shot, and Kesslering being third shot. Now I know they're looking here at what shot they might play to get 2 out of this. There is definitely a shot there. It'll just be based on how much weight you throw and if your rock does what you want it to.
Looks like there's a shot there for 2, but it's definitely not easy because that top red one's going to be coming really close to that third shot Yellowstone. Not sure if it's worth trying. Might be easier to draw for 1, but looks like they're taking it into consideration.
It's one of those shots that you kind of weigh out the scoreboard too to say, is it better to, be tied right now going into the next end, or do we want to try for our 2 and risk giving up 1 or potentially 2? But if you come in contact with the top red, it should be okay. Because if you do over curl it and jam on your yellow, your shooter will most likely roll into the 8-foot. So you do have some options here.
Yeah, I think either they want to over curl and roll in, or to make the shot perfectly, they have to hit just on the right side of nose. I think nose, that front red will catch the back yellow, and it might only be for 1, but that would still be okay.
Absolutely. We see the call for the sweep here, so it must be close. And no, it jams, and it will be a steal of 1 red for Taylor.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
So the unique thing about Stringham is, although we've grown, we still maintain the small town law feel.
And it's important to Stringham to go into those communities, to provide those high-level legal services to our community members, and to live in those communities, to support those communities, and to help those communities grow and thrive.
We're back here in the third end. After Team Kesslering has an opportunity for 2, not easy, but end up not quite curling enough on the last stone and give up another steal of 1. So now they'll definitely be looking to score here.
That's right. We see that there's a corner guard shot by Kesslering, and Team Taylor has one in the top 12-foot, top 8-foot, and one in the back 12-foot, close to center line. We see Kesslering ignoring those center line or center stones and going around their corner guard. And yeah, we'll update you on how that goes.
Yeah, I like this call to go around the corner. If these two reds were better placed, like both of them top 4, then you'd have to be worried about going around the corner and letting the other team throw a center guard up. But since the reds aren't ideally placed, I think you can be aggressive and go around the corner to start.
I would agree. I would agree. And I think too now junior teams can throw so much weight, whereas in the past we didn't see the same level of good hit and weight throwing as we do now. So Kesslering's probably thinking, hey, if Taylor does throw up that center or does put more on the center, we can deal with it later by throwing a big weight shot. Whereas in the past, I found, at least when I was going through juniors, that wasn't always the case for teams. So it's good to see.
Mm-hmm. And the draw around is well played. It's almost fully buried. Looks like Team Taylor will try to get at it with a hack weight shot. Or is this just a freeze?
I think they're looking at freezing.
Okay.
But this looks like a little bit more weight, and it is curling a little bit more than they anticipated. So they are going to bump that guard, and it will have to be put back because of the free guard zone. And their shooter will be removed from play as well. We're seeing some consultation with the coaches here, just on the next shot of Kesslering's, looking at where to optimize, and we see that the coach has advised that they put up another corner. This is a pretty good call, just because you do want to generate those points, and Taylor does have 2 in the rings. Make them go for a peel, and that means that they're not guarding their own or putting another one in the 4-foot behind theirs in the top 12. So
it's an interesting mechanic. So like you were explaining earlier, they're allowed to talk to their coaches at any point, but their time clock keeps running. Is that right?
yeah, that's correct. So their time clock does keep running.
Okay. It's just interesting. Playing out of Alberta, I've never had a Bonspiel formatted like this, but it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, I know that they started it in, I believe, like 2019-ish here. And my last year of juniors, we did have access to our coach. However, there were a few more rules around it. I believe you could only access your coach like once per end.
Oh, okay.
Whereas now it's slightly different. And I've never really seen any team abuse the ability to talk to their coaches, or any coaches abuse the ability to talk to their teams. Like you're not seeing coaches make every call for a team, which is really good. I think that everyone's a pretty good sport and a pretty fair sport about it, in knowing that, you know, sometimes there are mistakes in strategy or in calling, and that's just part of the game and part of learning.
Looks like the umpires called a technical timeout here. I'm not sure what's going on. A loose handle, possibly. Yeah. Looks like the handle is loose on that Yellowstone.
It's fantastic to have umpires out there on the ice. I do want to give a shout out to all the volunteers this week and this weekend. Volunteers really do make the world of curling go round. So thank you all for spending your time here and making this event happen.
So after a flash peel, Team Kesslering is going to have another opportunity to draw around these corner guards. And then let's see how this is made. Looks like it might be a little bit heavy. Let's go through the rings. So, okay, right away, Team Taylor decides they're peeling off the corners. I think it'd be worth... I don't know if they want to peel off this this corner guard that's closer to the center line, because it's not guarding the back rock too much. It's the corner guard on the right that's really guarding it. So maybe I would consider a run back on that guard, because if you only pick this top one off, then that yellow is still going to be buried. What do you think, Sarah?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where if you can get the double peel, that's great. But if you can't, you're kind of in the same situation as you were before.
That's exactly what happens.
Yeah, yeah. And Kesslering's opting to put it back. So, I guess good call from the Kesslering team when they discussed with their coach as to what to do, and it was advised that they put up a guard. It's definitely worked out the way they thought, with the Taylor team needing to peel it. You see a signal that it's a little bit hot here, so this stone might be going into the house.
It could be okay if it gets buried.
Yeah, I would agree. It looks like it's trying. You know what? That's a really good plan B. They're almost frozen.
Absolutely. I think that's probably better than the corner guard if they had made the corner. If they threw a corner guard up there, then I think Team Taylor would probably give up with trying to peel off the guards and instead try to play a freeze. But since that freeze is like perfect there, now Team Taylor definitely has to do this run back. A little bit of a discussion on which turn to play. Opting to go with the same turn they played on their last shot.
Yeah, I think that this is probably a pretty good turn, because if it doesn't curl up enough and you just get the peel, you might roll as a guard on your own stones. And no, they over curl, so it's still kind of guarding the Kesslering stones.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate where they hit that rock. Like you said, if they hit it a bit thinner, they might have rolled closer to a center guard. But as it happened, they missed the run back and are still covering some of the yellow stones. So a bit unlucky there.
It's insane how an end can change so quickly with, one or two people making a half shot or even a 3/4 shot and not a 100% shot. At this level of curling, people can jump on that quite quickly. Nice hit and little roll here. I guess one positive thing about that rock staying in place is that if Taylor does run it, it's their rock being ran in.
Mm-hmm.
They are eyeing up this, well, I guess technically you could make a triple off those stones.
Yeah, the triple's definitely there. Gotta throw a lot of weight though. Other option is just throw a little less weight and just kind of roll into the side of the two yellows. And if you roll into the side of the top one, you should be shot and it'd be hard to get rid of.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Based on the ice they're taking, I think they're opting to play not super big weight at this one.
And call for the sweep right off the bat.
It's close.
Oh, off the sweep and nope, just goes underneath.
Just
So-
misswept that one ever so slightly, and now Team Kesslering is going to split the rings, and it's looking awfully like it could be a 3 here, the third end.
Absolutely. So quickly how a game can swing back and forth in the first couple ends. Both of these teams are still in the running for the green jacket to represent Saskatchewan at the Junior Nationals this year. I know that both of these teams have had some extreme success in juniors, but also in U18s. So it'll be interesting to see what happens after this game and for the rest of the weekend.
Nice draw there. Sits top 4 right on the edge of the 8-foot.
We see Taylor coming in, going to throw a hit here. Just needs to come up a little bit. We do see the directional sweep and a roll a little bit too far and out of the rings.
Final stone of the third end. Playing the same draw path, so they know it well. Just got to touch 8-foot here to get 3. And the stone will settle down, so Team Kesslering takes a 3-2 lead heading into the fourth end.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed? More innovation?
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
So the unique thing about Stringham is, although we've grown, we still maintain the small town law feel.
And it's important to Stringham to go into those communities, to provide those high-level legal services to our community members, and to live in those communities, to support those communities, and to help those communities grow and thrive.
And we are back in the third end. In the fourth end, my mistake.
Sorry to
Kesslering has a 3-2 lead over Taylor as they got a 3-ball in the third end. We see Taylor has a stone kind of in the edge of the 12 area, just outside of the rings. Kesslering has one stone out of the house and one stone in the 4-foot. At the break, we were just talking about, people you know and people you meet through curling and through junior curling. And I think that, this is a really, really important time in the development of the sport, as people can be so social with curling, all the while staying competitive. And I mean, a lot of these athletes are either in high school, university, or just out of university. And so the people you meet are people you're going to run into later on, not even in the curling world. So I found junior curling was a great time to network. And you never know, curl with them later on or in women's or, put mixed teams together. And yeah, even though you're against each other in one game, you might be teammates in the next.
Yeah, teammate I have currently, Zachary Polyak. I must have been playing against him for 8 years straight or so in juniors and juvenile before we ended up playing together in men's. So you never know when you're gonna connect again. We were also mentioning an old teammate of mine, Payson Anderson, you actually played mixed doubles with. Is that right?
I did. At a national event, when you lose out, you play mixed doubles. And so Payson and I We're paired up and we were given a coach from PEI. So our team name was Saskatchewan Island. And, you know, even though we didn't win that year for the national event in 4-person, we still got to meet other people from across the province and play some mixed doubles afterwards. And I know a lot of these curlers on the ice have been playing competitive U21 mixed doubles and also adult mixed doubles. So there's a lot of opportunity for curling right now. And I think that these curlers, it shows with the incredible shot making that they are getting out there and curling a lot, whether it be in fours or in mixed doubles. And I guess that there's a new triples being introduced at the younger levels. I haven't played that yet, but definitely for the spectators, keep your eyes open for that. If you have, you know, youth in your life who might want to start curling and have 2 friends that want to play, triples is the new thing.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited for triples. I've only read about it, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I think how it works is 3 players obviously, and each player throws 2 rocks, and it's a 6-end game, but you have to rotate positions so that everyone plays each position for at least 2 ends. I think that's how it works, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think I read that too, that everyone plays each of the positions. I think it's great. It's a great way to introduce people to the possibilities in curling.
And I like that every teammate has to be well-rounded. They all have to know how to call line, all have to be able to make pressure shots. They all have to know how to sweep. So I think that's really cool.
Absolutely. I mean, we look at teams that are playing today, like Taylor's team, and all of the players have played almost every position. They all are engaged with line calling, sweeping, and throwing, as well as decision making. And you can see the same with the Kesslering team, where, you know, everyone's engaged with the process. And I think that's really building some really strong teams instead of back in the day when you had, you know, the skip made the calls, the third just, you know, held the broom, the front end was there to sweep, and that's it. The teamwork skills and dynamics is really evolving, which is awesome to see.
Pretty straightforward end here. Oh, I should change who has hammer. Team Taylor has hammer, not Team Kesslering. As they're throwing up corner guards and hoping for a missed peel, but Team Kesslering's just going to keep it simple, peel off everything that's put into play, and then most likely result in a blank end, assuming all the shots are made. Ooh, that's really unlucky. They just nudged the red one and pushed it into the house on that peel. It's pretty unlikely now Team Taylor will have a chance to split the house. You always got to be careful when you're playing those types of peels. You never know what kind of jam possibilities there are. That probably wasn't even in their minds that could happen until it did.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that also comes down to what way you're going to peel the stone to. Which way looks the least likely to cause damage, should it be either missed or made with, you know, a fraction of what the line should be.
Sand seems like it's just flying by, so we're already in skipstones.
A really good brush here. Great sweeping technique.
Hits nose. Unfortunately, I think even if Team Taylor noses this one back, there still won't be a double. Those rocks are hugely separated.
Yeah, I would agree. I think right now, Kesslering can just hope that this rock undercurls and rolls closer to the other Taylor stone. But in a lot of ways, it looks like Taylor is in control of this split house and will be going for their deuce.
Does have to curl. Might be rolling out here. Wow, yeah, it just barely rolls out of the house, it looks like. Let's get an overhead shot.
Yeah, it's just out, but it could cause some problems should this hit over curl. I mean, it might be a catcher of sorts.
Well played, hit and roll. And now blank attempt will be coming for Savanna Taylor.
With it only being the fourth end, a blank here is still fine. I mean, you're only down one and you'll keep your hammer. Some great brushing from the sweepers. And it looks like she'll stick around. So Savanna counts one and it will be tied going into the fifth end.
At Viterra, we believe in the power of connection. Our world-leading agriculture network connects producers and consumers to supply top-quality food ingredients each and every day. Our team takes great pride in working closely with farmers to help feed the world. It's something we've been doing for over 100 years. And as an industry leader, we're dedicated to playing a critical role in meeting the needs of a growing world. Because together, we're stronger and achieve more.
There's no doubt running any kind of farm comes with day-to-day challenges. We built a new facility 2 years ago. Technology has totally revolutionized dairy farming. Sask Milk gives us the tools to provide high quality standard of milk, making sure our equipment is all well taken care of, make sure that those animals are housed and cared for appropriately. They continue to push us with their standards to make sure that it just gets better and better.
Saskatchewan, you know SaskTel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With SaskTel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. SaskTel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sastel.com/sponsorships.
Second.
And we are back in the fifth end here. We have a 3-3 tie, and Kesslering has hammer. Savanna Taylor opted to play center guard, and now we see Kesslering going to the corner. This looks a little bit heavy. The sweepers aren't touching it, but it might stick around in the back of the rings. Looks like Taylor's looking to hit and roll. Now, if they roll, they will most likely be behind the tee line. And yeah, they are going to roll to just outside of the rings and through.
Team Kesslering draws to the side of the house, so their hopes this end is going to be that eventually Team Taylor will roll out and they'll get a chance to peel off the center guard and get another blank and bring hammer back going into sixth. But if that doesn't happen eventually, rather than going to the side, they'll try to come around the center and generate a deuce that way.
Exactly. Just waited a little bit too long there on the sweep to get any sort of roll, but now we see Kesslering asking what turn the thrower wants for this hit. Looking to directionally sweep this stone to make it curl a little bit more. Now, one thing we were discussing last night in last night's game of Pomedley versus Collider is that directional sweeping right now, although it's definitely useful, isn't what it was before the broom heads were all made the same. So no longer can curlers at this level or any competitive level use, hog hair or horsehair brooms. They can't use, the heads with the ridges or anything like that to affect the ice in the rock. So the directional sweeping, although it helps, isn't what it was, 5, 6, 7 years ago, where you could really make the rock move in whatever direction you wanted. Here we see Kesslering wondering if they should go under that Taylor guard or if they should split the rings. And they'll consult with their coach to see what the best option there is.
I think I like splitting the rings here, and that's what they decide on. Keep your rocks separated, and any hit and roll that Team Tether makes under that center guard, it's so high that they'll be able to get at it. So I like this call.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as you were saying about the brush heads with the WCF approved fabric that we've all been using for must be like about 4 or 5 years now, maybe even longer. Anytime I go back and use like a horsehair just for fun, or like an old ice pad with the plastic inserts, it's just incredible how big of a difference it is. You can just steer a rock down the ice when you're sweeping it, and yeah. I don't know how teams didn't pick up on directional sweeping faster, but looking back now, it makes a huge difference. Those broom heads that were available before.
Oh, absolutely. However, I do think the ice is a little bit cleaner without some of the hair brooms out there. Just because they're not shedding on the ice. But I totally agree with you that, man, people can make the rocks curl, especially when you have, good sweeping technique, and both of these teams do. You see the curlers with the brooms, under their eyes and sometimes under their chest to get the most amount of pressure possible.
The other thing mentioned, like ice conditions with the old heads, those ice pads, they were like sandpaper. If two big men's teams that with really strong sweepers playing a 10-end game, by the end of the game, there's just no pebble left. The ice just can't keep up with it. So I really do like looking back now. I think the sweeping moratorium that happened 5 or so years ago, coming out with these regulated fabrics, it's made a huge improvement to the game, and I really like where we're at right now.
Absolutely. I think it was a little bit frustrating at first having to change all the heads over, or not being able to use the advantage of the quote unquote cheater heads. But now at least everyone is on the same playing field, no matter who your sponsor is or no matter what brooms you're using. It's all the same. So your technique is really what's going to put you apart from the other teams. So this is Kesslering's third's last stone.
Yeah, roll out on her first shot left Team Taylor with a draw. It is partly open though, so it'll be a hack weight shot to get at it. Might even be able to roll under even more buried. It's close.
And it looks like they've over curled here. Now Taylor's looking to replace that guard that was pushed off the center line.
Trying to finish
And it
this
looks
guard
like
over. And pretty nice shot. Covers probably a little bit more than 3/4 of the stone.
absolutely.
They did
There
cover
is a
the
little
wrong
hole
side
there.
though. Yeah, there is a roll to get under the corner guard. So they wanted to make sure, ideally, if anything, they were leaving the other side open.
So this is Kesslering's first stone, and it looks like they're throwing a little bit more weight than their last shot. Hoping to get through the hole by the guard and push out that Taylor stone from the 4-foot button area, and it looks like this is a really great shot coming in. It does leave Taylor with the same shot. However, you know, you just threw it, so if you have to play the same thing, I'd be totally fine having to throw the same thing again.
Does wreck on the guard. She'll leave Cara Kesslering with a most likely a draw for 2, I think. They are looking at the hit, but I feel like the draw is easier. Just you can be heavy on top of your yellow and be no problem.
Yeah, I would agree. I think at this point it's whatever you're most comfortable with.
Maybe she is more comfortable with the hit, which is fine.
Yeah. That red guard is somewhat in the way, but it's a pretty high guard. So you don't really have to worry about it too much. When guards are, you know, above that zone 2, you can kind of pretend like they aren't there on ice that swings later on. But they are really in the way on ice that is a little bit straighter. Great shot here. 4-2. So it's looking like a 5-3 lead for Kesslering, playing, and correct me if I'm wrong, we're going to be playing 6 here? No.
Yep, that was the end of the 5th end. So
Perfect.
5th end break. We'll catch you after the break.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Sometimes curling just isn't as fun as it can be on the Nintendo Switch. With up to 4 players per console, you can enjoy curling with your friends and family anywhere, anytime. Let's play curling. Available now only on Nintendo Switch.
So the unique thing about Stringham is, although we've grown, we still maintain the small town law feel.
And it's important to Stringham to go into those communities, to provide those high-level legal services to our community members, and to live in those communities, to support those communities, and to help those communities grow and thrive.
CURLSASK is proud to announce Friday, January 27th as the Affinity Credit Union Curling Day in Saskatchewan. We reached out to Saskatchewan for help with creating a new t-shirt design for this special day. We received over 20 submissions from people all over the province. But there could only be one winner. Congratulations to Amy Fredette from the Estevan Curling Club. CURLSASK is so excited to use this design for our Provincial Day of Curling on January 27th.
Today, online bullying is more common than ever, but there is help. SaskTel wants to solve this problem. It's why they created Be Kind Online. If you're a victim of online bullying or know someone who is, or even if you just want to stop it from happening to anyone, this is a place to learn what you can do. You can find lots of tools and tips to help you stand up to cyberbullying. Be Kind Online is a place to learn how to stay safe as well, to learn best practices and plans to stop cyberbullying before it even has a chance.
Sometimes curling just isn't as fun as it can be on the Nintendo Switch. With up to 4 players per console, you can enjoy curling with your friends and family anywhere, anytime. Let's play curling. Available now only on Nintendo Switch.
So the unique thing about Stringham is, although we've grown, we still maintain the small town law feel.
And it's important to Stringham to go into those communities, to provide those high-level legal services to our community members, and to live in those communities, to support those communities, and to help those communities grow and thrive.
All right, and we're back in the sixth end. We have a fantastic game so far. We've had a fantastic game so far and a great game ahead of us. Both Kesslering and Taylor have been dominating in both U18s and junior events. So this is a really exciting pairing. The score right now is 5-3 for Kesslering. Taylor with hammer in the sixth. Some really good sweeping there from the Taylor team. So we have a Kesslering stone in the top 8-foot center line and a Taylor stone as a corner guard. Looks like Kesslering's looking to go back into the center again.
Coming into the house, trying to wrap it around their top 8 stone just a bit. Nice shot. So this is what I was talking about earlier in the game. I think in the third end it might have been when I forget who. I think it was Team Kesslering drew around the corner guard in this situation, but Team Taylor stones were top 12 and back 12. Now we're also seeing a draw around the corners, but if this is made, I expect Team Kesslering will throw up a guard, and then it's like you were saying, they're gonna have to be making some. Team Taylor's gonna have to be making some run backs to get them back into it. But a good way to play. You just gotta be able to make a nice run back at some point. Stone is left, probably 2/3 open, so being up 2, Team Kesslering might just decide to hit it out rather than throwing a guard, and that is what they're doing.
And with this one, I don't think Team Kesslering is too concerned about sticking in the rings. I don't think they want to stick behind that corner guard and leave Taylor with something to freeze to. And I don't think they want to, roll under theirs in the back 4-foot either. So,
Yeah.
And it's an over curl. You know what? That's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
Good
Now
plan B.
those yellows are occupying all of the 4-foot. And it opens up the red stone. So you said earlier that in this junior provincials, they're not playing with the no-tick rule. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. So there's no tick rule at this event that I've seen or heard of, but it most likely will be implemented in the future if it stays in the other levels of curling.
Did you play with the no-tick rule in your women's provincial qualifiers?
We did. Did
Okay.
you in Alberta?
We did, yeah. Also a couple of
And how did you
events
find that?
had it too.
How did you find that as a skip?
I didn't mind it too much. I don't think it made a difference most of the time. It was just when you're down, you have to be absolutely sure that your guards are on the center line is the main thing. Versus before, it's kind of like it's nice to have them, but if they're like an inch off the center line, it's not a huge deal. Personally, I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of it, just because I feel like it takes some shot making skill away from the lead. Because if you're tied in like an extra end or last end of the game, probably the most important shots are going to be the lead shots, and there's not often in curling is that the case when leads have the most important shots. So I really liked that with ticks, it brings a lot of element of skill into the lead shots and puts more focus on them making their shots. With the no tick rule, it kind of takes that away. So I kind of wishy-washy on how much I like it so far.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. I think it's probably the same sentiments that people had when the free guard zone rule came in, you know, saying, well, our front end is great at hitting. Why can't we just hit everything? So I guess the game will evolve as things go and different positions will change. I know with the no tick rule, it brings a different element to playing second when you have more of those rocks to move around.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely means that the seconds and thirds in tie game situations in the last end, seconds and thirds have a lot of pressure to make doubles or triples and open up the house.
A really good sweep here, and now a clean. Looks like the team has made the shot the way they wanted to. It did roll a little bit too far. It would have been nice to stick behind that Taylor stone, kind of staggered, but there's a little bit of room for Taylor now to come in and hit and roll corner frozen to the one on the button, which would be fantastic as they're looking to count their 2, maybe 3 this end.
This is a very precise shot. If they roll it just a foot too short, there could be a red double. If they make it absolutely perfect, then they're in a really good situation. But it looks like the silver curling and might actually take their own shot out. Nice easy weight choice though, means both of their rocks stay in the house, so that's good.
Exactly. I think that's a big thing when choosing, you know, what weight to play at something. You want to look at all scenarios, and you know that over curl and tap R's, that's okay too, as long as they both stay in the rings.
Yeah, definitely a good weight choice. Ooh. Wow, they just about made that double. That didn't look like it would be possible because that yellow on a pin would get in the way. But they just barely missed that one and touched the back red, but didn't quite kill it. Still a good shot.
Now we have Taylor looking to play the same shot, but just without that guard in place, and just getting their changing it up a little bit here based on the turn.
Wow, that back
So
red does not want to leave the house. Second
yeah.
time it's been moved and still hanging on. Nice
So
double made.
Taylor makes the double.
I think we'll probably see a double attempt back. But if it hits it thick and rolls, it could be good too.
and she noses it.
For this shot, I didn't see what they called, but they could try to roll it to the side of the house and make the double as hard as possible. But right on the nose, it'd also leave a pretty hard double. It'd be very thin. I think they probably just want to try to hit it on the nose because you try to roll to the side of the house and you never know when you hit it just a little bit thinner than you like and you end up rolling out of the house and just killing your whole end. Nose shot makes the
Absolutely.
other team. It's tough to make the double and it won't be easy. Good shot.
The coach is intervening here. Now, the double is there, but I also kind of like the hit and roll to take away the 2 as well. And I mean, you could play for the double, and if you just over curl, you might get the hit and roll kind of on top of the Taylor stone.
Yeah, I agree. I think, like you said earlier, just pick the right weight. So pick a weight that if you hit it right, you make the double. But if you hit it too thick, you don't roll out, which is pretty tough to do.
Exactly.
Probably around maybe 8 seconds just off the top of my head would be a pretty good hit weight here. You don't want to throw it as hard as you can because if you hit it just a couple inches thick and miss the double, you'll definitely be rolling out of the house. It's close for the one of the 2 shots. And the double is made. Finally, that red rock leaves the house, and now Team Taylor will probably take on the blank attempt. Really good shot there by Cara Kesslering on her last. Blank is made, so score will remain 3-5 in favor of Team Kesslering heading into the 7th end.
CURLSASK is proud to announce Friday, January 27th as the Affinity Credit Union Curling Day in Saskatchewan. We reached out to Saskatchewan for help with creating a new t-shirt design for this special day. We received over 20 submissions from people all over the province. But there could only be one winner. Congratulations to Amy Fredette from the Estevan Curling Club. CURLSASK is so excited to use this design for our Provincial Day of Curling on January 27th.
no doubt running any kind of farm comes with day-to-day challenges. We built a new facility 2 years ago. Technology has totally revolutionized dairy farming. Sask Milk gives us the tools to provide high quality standard of milk, making sure our equipment is all well taken care of, make sure that those animals are housed and cared for appropriately. They continue to push us with their standards to make sure that it just gets better and better.
Here in the 7th end, we had a blank from Team Taylor last end. It's still 5-3 for Kesslering. And we have a Yellowstone in the top 4 foot, and Taylor opted to throw a close corner guard. Kesslering's going to cap off their rock in the 4 foot and try to bring the play to the center. Some great sweeping there, bringing the stone kind of partially buried behind the Kesslering guard.
I just give a quick update for how our other C qualifier game is going. Team Pomidley versus Team Todd. Pomidley is up 8-3. So the winner of this game and the winner of that game will go on to the quarterfinal page playoff, and already qualified for the A and B in the page playoff is Team Kessel and Team Kleider. We also have a on the junior men's side, for anybody interested in that, there's a game going on. I believe it's a tiebreaker game, and it looks like Team Bernath beat Team Ede after 9-4 after 8 ends.
We see Team Taylor here going after that yellow Kesslering stone in the top 8 foot. It's just partially behind the guard, but the guard is still a factor in the shot. So we have the sweepers sweeping to avoid that guard, and they get it by. Great sweeping. A nice little roll there, but they don't roll quite far enough to be buried.
Sorry, I think I clicked on the wrong the wrong event when I was looking at the CURLSASK competitions. The tiebreaker game that's going on right now is Team Zuriflof versus Team Heistad, and Team Zuriflof is up 5-2. I accidentally looked at an old provincial or something. And the winner of that will go on to play Team Ede in the quarterfinal page playoff, and in the A and B spots in that playoff is Team Druids and Team Bryden. Draw around the corner guard, stays just about fully buried. Back 8 foot.
We see Kesslering looking to remove that corner guard. They are up 2 in the 7th. So it looks like they're really hoping to force Taylor here or force Taylor to continue to play an open game. Their rock does over curl and they stay as a corner guard, but at least it's theirs and it's close to the ring. So if they need to run it in, they can, or next time they go to peel it, they might get lucky and get that back red one.
And the back red one is more open now. It looks like a timeout call by the coach. My first thought would be just to draw around the center guard here. What do you think, Sarah?
I'm really sorry, my mic wouldn't unmute myself. Yeah, I definitely think if I'm Taylor, I'm going around that center. But I'm looking at just being in the top 4 foot. I don't want to be T-line, that's too deep, and I don't want to be in the top 8 foot, that's too high. So like half in the 4 foot, I think is pretty good.
Do call the draw around center. Looking pretty close. Sweepers are going at it now. Line looks really good.
Now, if you're Team Kesslering, do you go after... Yeah, there's that run.
I think you probably play the run back. It opens up the double. I mean, ideally, who's to say they can't just stick it perfectly would be best. If it was later in the end, like 1 or 2 shots later, then might just hit the open one. But I do like this call, playing the run back first.
And I guess if you undercurl this, you maybe get the side one, but it looks like they're pretty perfect on this shot. And rolling somewhat open, which is also good if you're Kesslering, trying to keep Taylor away from those guards that can protect them.
And it does stay for shots, so Team Taylor is going to be forced to hit it. Try to make a roll, either under the center, or if they hit it a bit thinner, they can roll all the way under the other guard. It's hit on the high side and rolls out. So now Team Kesslering will get to open or hit the open stone. Still a chance for 2 though, with the last 2 skip stones for Team Taylor. There are guards in play. Sweep has got to go to get a bye. Ooh, they rubbed the top one and still make the hit. Might have gotten a little lucky there. I think if they didn't rub it, it almost looked like it was going to overcurl and miss the rock completely. I'm not 100% sure about
I
that.
would
But
agree on that one.
yeah,
I would agree.
a little bit of luck, a little bit of a good line call. Means they do take the red out. But it is a free draw now. Open house behind a center guard.
If Taylor makes this really well, Kesslering is going to have to make a decision as to whether or not they want to risk a run or risk a draw and tap.
This one's got to curl a mile. Maybe got a little bit wider, caught a bit of a ridge on the outside there. It's not going to quite bury, unfortunately.
Kesslering has this open hit now. And, I mean, sticking around under that guard would make it so that Taylor is forced to outdraw it. But if they roll to the side or out, then the blank can continue.
Hits it on the nose, so there will be a blank attempt again. And both teams are okay with this result for this end. Team Taylor did have chances to get a deuce there, but blank's not bad. Just going to have to come back and score 2 in the 8th end.
Yeah, absolutely. I think some teams might look at trying to count, but I think with a 10-end game and this only being the 7th end, definitely blanking and then trying to get your deuce in the next is good. Here they do take their 1, so it'll be 5-4 for Kesslering, playing 8, and Kesslering has hammerback. And we hope to see you in the 8th end.
We're back here in the 8th end of the C qualifier at the Women's Provincial Juniors Championship in Saskatchewan. Was there some sort of tick there? I guess the center guard must not have quite been on the center line to start off this end. Team Kesslering in a good spot with a unforced error. The last, and Team Taylor, at first it was looking like they were going to get a deuce most of the end, and then they ended up having a shot at the blank, but over curls and takes one instead. So now Team Kesslering is up one with hammer in 8th end. Pretty good situation.
We see them opting to go around their corner here. Taylor does have 2 stones, one on the center line and one just off the center line, covering the 4-foot. And Kesslering's guard is a nice corner guard here. So they're going to take advantage of that corner guard and see if they can count here to further the gap in points going into 9.
Just taking a look at the curling zone analytics. If you haven't heard of it, it's a really great tool. It's on the Curling Zone website. You can find certain percentages of winning based on certain situations throughout the game. Here, being up one with hammer with 3 ends remaining in the 2022-2023 season for the women, has an 80% chance. 80% of the times the team up is winning. So I find that really useful. I look at it as a skip, so I know certain situations, is this better or is this better? What's a better chances of winning? So it's nice to have. I know like certain teams would rather be, I've seen in the professional levels, sometimes a team will rather be down 2 with hammer in the last end rather than tied without. According to Curling Zone Analytics, that's generally not a good idea, but I've seen professional teams do it. I think especially now with the no-take rule, the chances of stealing are much higher in those types of situations.
I agree that curling analytics are really important and extremely useful. I know a lot of teams are starting to keep their own as well, just to kind of track what's best for their team or how their team does in specific situations. And yeah, it definitely changes the way you can call a game or plan a game if you know when you're at your best.
Yeah, just because on average, you might be better tied without, for example. Maybe your team personally is actually really good at getting 3 with hammer, and you're better off being down 2 with. So it's a good point. Maybe that's something my own team should pick up, is making our own analytics and comparing them.
I know there's some apps that teams can use now that run the numbers for you. You just have to input what happened. And I also know that you can go based on, you can input comparisons from Curling Zone to see how you stack up versus other teams as well. So it does sometimes get pretty technical, but sometimes it's just fun to see where you're at and how you're comparing to other teams that are in your cohort.
Mm-hmm. Also on Curling Zone, and there's the well, I forget what it's called exactly, but you can check your steal defense percentages, hammer efficiency scores, things like that. And maybe sometimes you might notice, oh, we give up a lot of steals. Maybe you can adjust your strategy, be a little bit less aggressive with hammer, make sure you don't give up steals. I know probably the best team in the world at not giving up steals is Team Gushu. They have an incredibly low steal defense score. I think it was something around like 5%
Absolutely.
or less. They hardly ever give up steals. And I think that's one of the most important metrics actually to measuring how good a team is. That's why they're one of the best. Tap on the nose. So those back yellow stones could be good, could be bad for Team Taylor. Have to wait and see. Structure at the end, there's definitely chances to steal here, but it could also be quite dangerous.
When you have rocks in the back of the house, as you said, could be good, could be bad. Sometimes they're those extra points that you count, and sometimes they're the reason the opposition counts a couple extra points. So keeping your rocks where you can control them is always a top priority. We do see Kesslering now has 3 in the rings. A corner guard and 1 behind the house. Taylor has 2 guards up, and it looks like they are hitting and rolling behind the guards. No.
I think so, yeah.
Never mind. Yep, sorry. I just saw a little shuffle to the side and I didn't know if they were changing their call.
It's a bit wide, might be able to make a double instead. And punches it right through the hole. 2 shots in a row, a rock went through those yellows without touching either one. And it looks like red is second shot. So, and it is buried, so Team Kesslering will draw here. Quite heavy on that draw. Just comes back to the back one and bumps it out, but they're sitting 2 now. Leaves Team Taylor with a draw. Probably gonna go around the center guard. I think they're talking about going around the other guard, which is covering the edge of the forefoot. It's a lot deeper, so it'll be harder to take out if they can get buried, and that is what they decide on. They figure any rock around that center guard, Team Kesslering will be able to get at with a hack weight shot.
Yeah. High like that and good ice like this, that's always a possibility. It is nice though that both teams have options no matter what, based on what the opposition does. This does need to curl and it looks a little bit heavy for this path.
is going to fall back. Sits around in the back of the house, but yellow is still counting too. Not much to think about here. Try to go top 8, top 4 around this top red one. Center line red one. It's tough when you play an outside draw like that. Yeah, they were probably assuming that it's going to be slower out that wide side with a bit more frost on the ice, and it's kind of a guess. You're like, okay, I got to throw it harder, but how much harder? And turned out that this time it was just 6 feet deep. Another rock that goes deep. This one's back 4, and this is probably biggest shot of the game so far. If this is made perfectly, it's at least a force, if not a steal. However, you got to be really precise. If you're not perfect, there could be a shot at 3 or 4 for sure. Got a curl. So we go in plan B. They're going to draw around it. It's not bad. Good plan B there. Second shot now, and not really anything easy for 3. Or might not be anything at all, as far as I can tell. It's probably just going to be a draw for 2, I think, is the call here. I don't know if your mic got muted again, Sarah, but what do you think about the draw versus some other shot?
Yeah, you know, I think the rocks are pretty far away. All you have to do is hit the 8 foot on this. And then, you know, you get your 2, you keep moving, and you're up by 3 now. So I like it. I don't think I would get too greedy about going after the back one. I guess you could, but if you over curl and you just tick yours in the 4 foot, you might give them 1 just because you were looking at getting, you know, maybe a potential 4. So yeah, get your 2 and keep moving, is my opinion.
I agree 100%. Yeah, be a really tough shot to get a 3 hitting that back one, if there's anything at all. Strush. It's heavy.
And it looks like they'll just pick up 1, so it's a 6-4 lead for Kesslering. Now going into the 9th end, and Taylor will have hammer.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Sometimes curling just isn't as fun as it can be on the Nintendo Switch. With up to 4 players per console, you can enjoy curling with your friends and family anywhere, anytime. Let's play curling. Available now only on Nintendo Switch.
All right, and we are back in the 9th end. It looks like Kesslering has a guard up close to the center line, and Team Taylor is opting to go behind it. Taylor does have hammer this end, and Kesslering is leading by 2.
Interesting call here. I would have thought they'd throw up a corner guard. But this is okay. Like, good chance to get a blank here. Like, when you go around, I usually say we'd like to get 2, but if we can blank, that's okay. That's usually what I'm thinking when I'm going around the center guard like this. But in this situation, my thoughts would be like, okay, we're trying to get 3 here, which pretty much means you gotta throw a corner guard up. So I'm a little surprised he didn't throw a corner, but it's definitely debatable. Either way works.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, unless they're thinking, let's just blank and take hammer home.
Yeah. Nice shot. Manages to take out that draw. And now a corner guard's coming up. Interesting. I don't know why they wouldn't throw a corner on their first shot, but they're throwing it now. Well placed.
Looks like they're going to come around, try to sit in the top 4 area. They do tick the guard. You know what? That's A-okay too.
It's nice we can see the clocks. Both teams still have plenty of time for these last 2 ends. Hit and roll is the call. I'd be mighty tempted to just ignore those corners and draw around those center yellows, looking like really nice guards. And when you have overlapped guards like that, you want to make sure that you're the first one to draw around them.
Absolutely, especially that because Taylor is looking to count here. I mean, if you can shrink their scoring zone, or maybe even under those overlapped guards, have something that's in place for a steal, you're in a pretty good spot if you're Kesslering. But that actually worked pretty well for them as well. Looks like Taylor's going to consult with the coach.
Yeah, they got a little bit unlucky that they took their own rock out in the house there, but made the peel. That's the main purpose. Just a bit more likely that blank comes out of this end without that rock on the house. And yeah, coach says get under those overlapped guards first.
The call to go around those overlapped guards is absolutely a good call. Make Kesslering chase, and who knows, you might get 2 or 3.
Do not want to be deep though. And it stops, top 4. Half open though.
Nice brush here to curl enough to get rid of that one on the top 4 foot, and they kind of roll open here. Taylor has a hit and roll under those staggered guards, and if they can kind of get it right between the 2 guards, that's probably the best option, just because they are pretty high, so it's easy to go around them.
Yeah, and if not, taking this rock out, should be keeping the blank alive. This looks pretty close. Ooh. Does jam though, and doesn't get it buried either. So now Team Kesslering is going to be able to sit 2. I think they have just enough room. They'll be able to make that hit and roll without jamming back.
Yeah, I would agree. And even if they just like hit and roll under the red guard, let Taylor try to go around, or if they hit and roll under the center and take out theirs in the back house, either one is fine.
Oof.
But it looks like they're just going to move the red one sideways.
Yeah, big opportunity now to get a rock buried and sit 2. I like this call coming around the wider side. Say you stop a bit short, say you stop top 12 half buried, it'll make a Christmas tree effect where both of these reds will be hard to take out. If you come up short on the other side, say top 12 half buried, then Team Kesslering would have a hit and roll off the back red underneath. So I like this call.
I fully agree. can you explain to anyone at home who might not know the term Christmas tree what that would look like, or explain what it would look like in curling?
Sure. So if you imagine that shot that Team Taylor just threw was about half buried under that yellow guard, it would also be guarding about half of the back red one. And with that kind of overlap, Team Kesslering wouldn't be able to hit either red one and roll in, and there wouldn't be a double either. So sometimes you can kind of make a draw and make a guard at the same time, and that's what they were trying there. Or maybe that's not what they were trying. They might have been just trying this shot, which is really good too.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I think there might be a chance to roll underneath. We'll see what they can do. Yeah, they should be able to hit this red and roll it for shot right to the button. Looks really close. Just touches the top
And they
one.
do move it. Yeah. They get rid of the back one though, so that was good. And now Taylor has a shot for a hit and roll here.
Yeah, it was definitely a good shot. They took a rock out and opened up the other one. So, I don't know if you want to roll this one towards the center line because you're going to be behind the T line and there's going to be a real nice pocket to draw to if Team Kesslering opts to do that. But they're up 2, so maybe they would just hit the open one and be happy giving up 2. So,
Right.
I don't know. I think there's definitely a case to be made just
And I
to
mean,
roll to the wide side just a couple feet. It's another shot possibility.
those yellow guards are relatively high that it might even be just as easy to come around them and tap back whatever Kesslering throws, or if they, roll under. So I agree with you. There's like 2 or 3 shots, and it's based on your comfort.
That's a really good roll though. Doesn't roll too far and leave a pocket, and rolls just enough so there's also no double. So that's a nice shot. Bit of a consultation with the coach, deciding which rock they want to hit and roll off of. This one's just a bit safer. It's more open. Make sure you're taking a rock out this way. Don't want to get too cute with trying to hit and roll off the other one and accidentally rub the guard. Final shot for Cara Kesslering coming down. Is it going to sit? Not quite. Really good attempt, but rolls just a foot too far. Leaves Savanna's shot, sitting shot. And it will be a draw to the 4-foot for the deuce.
It does give Kesslering hammer, but Taylor's proven that they've been able to throw up some pretty good guards and go around some pretty nice guards. So a steal, will probably be their main focus. I don't know if they'll be hitting too much to start the end, but oh, and this stone, the sweepers are sweeping it. Oh, and that's really close.
Really close. I think it might be just short. It's close though. Probably gonna measure this stone. Yeah. Call for a measurement. What do you think? What do you see? Can you tell?
But also, I know that could just be camera distortion.
Mm-hmm.
My big thing was if you have to look twice, just measure. Like if
Yeah,
it's not obvious on the first glance.
I think the umpire's coming down, or ice technician, somebody with the measuring stick. I guess they don't have one on the away side of the club. Yellow is closer, so it'll just be a 1 for Team Taylor, which leaves them down 1 without hammer heading into 10.
The roaring game. We all love it, but sometimes curling just isn't as fun as it can be on the Nintendo Switch. Don't get stuck in your curling club this year. Learn the game inside and out. Play for your favorite country and take the curling world by storm. With up to 4 players per console, you can enjoy curling with your friends and family anywhere, anytime. Let's play curling. Available now only on Nintendo Switch.
So the unique thing about Stringham is, although we've grown, we still maintain the small town law feel.
And it's important to Stringham to go into those communities, to provide those high-level legal services to our community members, and to live in those communities, to support those communities, and to help those communities grow and thrive.
CURLSASK is proud to announce Friday, January 27th as the Affinity Credit Union Curling Day in Saskatchewan. We reached out to Saskatchewan for help with creating a new t-shirt design for this special day. We received over 20 submissions from people all over the province. But there could only be one winner. Congratulations to Amy Fredette from the Estevan Curling Club. CURLSASK is so excited to use this design for our Provincial Day of Curling on January 27th.
We're back here in the final end. Give you a quick update on some other games in the men's junior provincials tiebreaker. Team Heistad and Team Zuraflov are tied 5-5 after 8. Oh, sorry, score just came in. Heistad's up 6-5 after 9. So we also have our other junior women C qualifier. And let me see if I can find that. So we have a final score here, 12-5 for Team Pomidley versus Team Todd. So the winner of this game will be playing Team Pomidley in the first round of the Page playoff.
And in this game here, we have Kesslering up 6-5 against Taylor. Kesslering does have hammer. Taylor has a close to center high guard. Kesslering has a close to the rings, somewhat corner guard. And Taylor is looking to go around their high center to put that another guard tight to the rings to get that double guard effect going.
Well placed stone there. This game's been very tight the whole way through, but Team Kesslering's definitely been on the better side of things, slightly more control throughout the game. And that leaves them with the advantage in this final end. Maybe I'll just take another quick look at the curling zone analytics, see how other teams fare in the situation. Up 1 with hammer in the last end. Has an 81.8% chance of winning. And it's time to start peeling. Oh, really nice shot there. Clears off 2 guards. The one red does roll into the house top 8. And the shooter sticks around, but it's much open. Very good shot. Much more open than it was. There you go. Like you were saying earlier, Sarah, with the no tick roll, it maybe takes a little bit of pressure off the leads, not having to make ticks, but you have to have your seconds making shots like that in order to make sure you're not giving up a steal.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the no tick rule has definitely just kind of changed the dynamic of who's making what shots. Of course, at this juniors, they're not playing with a no tick rule, but it is, you know, something that they'll be looking at in the future.
And this, making Team Taylor wanted this one to stop as a guard. It comes a bit deep and leaves a double now. Pretty close to right on the nose, but they might be trying to make it over the tops so that they don't leave their shooter around for a center guard. Is what they're trying, but misses it completely, unfortunately, and one really great shot followed by one not so great shot. And now it's not looking great again. And third for Team Kesslering's gonna have to make some rocks disappear.
Yeah, absolutely. And with Taylor looking to protect what they've got to, you know, steal one here to tie and go into extras or steal 2, the pressure's definitely on.
Well-placed guard. I don't think you could put that guard in a better spot, honestly. Any tighter and the run back's going to be a lot easier. You're covering the top stone mostly, but also covering a little bit of the back stone. It's a really nice spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Second flash in a row from Team Kesslering, and all of a sudden they're thinking, ooh, we might not even be getting to an extra end. What if we're going to give up a steal at 2 now?
Yeah, absolutely. It's so interesting how a game can change with just 1 or 2 rocks. And we know both of these teams can make all the shots. We've seen them make them all game. But sometimes it's just like a fluke that, you didn't make one, and now it's looking pretty good for Taylor.
I think I'd be looking at the intern draw around this top 12 rock. Get a second stone in there. I don't think a rock that's full 8 is good enough to steal necessarily.
No, I think their coach is thinking the same here. I also think you've got 3 stones left, so you need to think about all 3 of them right now. And you need to think about what Kesslering's going to do with theirs, because, if you go a guard, let's say Kesslering puts one in right behind it. Now what are you doing? Let's say, you tap yours and you leave a double. What's Kesslering doing? So I think you have to think about all your stones right now in this shot.
Just talking to the coach, they decided on throwing the guard.
Do you like the guard?
I don't mind it. I think next shot they would definitely have to play something different, but yeah, I don't mind the guard here. It's not my first thought, but I think it's okay. Get back to the send. The reason I think it's okay is now is Team Kesslering. I think this might come deep though.
But you know what? That's pretty good. I mean, Team Kesslering does have options with it, but it covers what they want it to cover.
I don't know about this call. I think that Yellowstone is the least of your worries right now. I mean, I know it'll open up the draw path a bit better, but
I mean, unless she's thinking, I'll peel it, and if I run it in...
Yeah, they are trying to make the run back, which would be great. Yeah. It's just so tough. And if you don't make the run back, then...
I think I would have tried to play on the stone that Taylor's team just threw.
Yeah, I agree. I think you have enough of it. You can hit what you can see, and you'll definitely get a double, and might even get some sort of triple, possibly.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? With that peel/run, if you make that 2, your draw path is open, and you probably eliminate 1 or 2 of the other stones anyway. So at that point, I think it's just based on comfort.
Another discussion here, and it's almost the same situation. Do you draw around with the intern, or do you throw a guard up? They could also plug the hole to stop the draw path. I don't mind that shot.
Yeah, because Kesslering's going to have to deal with it.
I just really feel like they need another stone in there that's closer to the button. Like, sure, if you do this, your chance of stealing this end is very, very good, but then you still got to steal next end. I'd rather
Mm-hmm.
steal 2 now. Like, they're in such a good position. I think they could put some pressure on and try to get 2. Because those top 12s stones are probably not good enough to steal. Like, gotta get another stone in somehow, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you also have, for your last shot, if you needed to, if all draw paths were taken, you can always bump around those top ones if you needed.
That's true. Yeah, maybe they're thinking throw the guard now, and they can bump up that other stone
Oh,
next.
and you know what? That's pretty good. It does still leave a hole, but there's no easy path.
Again, Cara Kesslering decides, is thinking we just want to open up this draw path. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say now. I think I'd just be throwing the intern through that hole, take off those top 2 reds. House is much more open without those there.
Yeah. Because the first shot right now is just in the 8-foot, so you just need to bite the 4-foot to take everything away from Savanna Taylor.
Looks like that they're gonna go with what I suggested. Try to make this double. I don't think you have to worry about keeping your shooter around. Just roll it all the way out, and you should have something to win on your last, I would think.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I see that there's potentially also a triple. Like if you hit almost all of that top one, it'll go straight back, and you might catch the backside of.
It's possible. If you can get close enough to nose, you might touch it. They can't see the whole rock though, so I don't know.
Yeah.
It might be there. You're right. It's close to say.
Oh, and I just got a text from my dad asking if there's a possible triple. Great sweeping here.
I'm gonna guess not gonna touch it, but we'll see. Yeah, just not quite. Very close though.
Yeah.
A little bit closer to
up
nose, it
there.
might have caught it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, who knows though? Based on how lively the rocks are, or dead the rocks are.
It's a good shot though. Looks like we'll probably just see a draw around the same guard to sit 2, and there's not going to be any easy draw to get shot, that's for sure. I think.
No, I wouldn't mind almost like drawing around and just tapping yours full 4 and sitting where that red one is right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It looks like they're calling top 12, but there's no reason to stay top 12. They might as well at least come frozen, get that second shot as close as possible, or yeah, if they can, even bump it back a couple feet.
Yeah,
If they
I
bump it back
agree.
2 feet, it's gonna be really hard to get anything. I think you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Because right now, I mean, Kesslering does have the intern draw just to touch the 4-foot. They're saying it's a little bit heavy, and it's hanging out there too. Maybe they're trying to go around now.
Looks like that's what they're calling for. It's not bad.
You know what? That's a good shot too.
Not bad at all.
Now the question for Kesslering is, what do you play? Do you play the intern around those 2 guards? Do you play something through the porch, or do you play the outturn to kill one of them?
My first thought would be the intern through the hole with like just a heavy draw, like a back line, maybe back 8 kind of thing. And you probably can't straight draw there because the corner guard's in the way, but you can rub off the top one and just roll into the forefoot with back 8 weight, maybe back line.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little risky though, because if you're heavy, you might just miss everything and lose the game.
I think if I was playing that, I'd just play it with like back 4, touch
Back
the
4
side of
maybe.
it,
Yeah.
roll into the top forefoot, and just make sure that theirs is like staying in the 8-foot at an angle.
Yeah.
But
You can throw back
um,
4 too, and if you come up light, I mean, if you're on top of the red, you're gonna be second shot and going into an extra.
yeah, exactly.
Seems like that's what they're calling. Could also play the out turn through the hole. Just wouldn't have backing that way, and you'd be running out of forefoot as your rock curls. But the out turn should be there too if they wanted to. Final stone for Cara Kesslering to win the game and qualify for playoffs.
And the sweepers are on it right away. Making sure that they get at least full 8 here.
Line is perfect.
Has to be
And it is.
wonderful. Nice toss, good sweeping. Both teams played incredibly. I mean, Taylor really turned it around at the end, which was fantastic. It just goes to show what the great shot making does.
Yeah, they definitely had some pressure on in that last, and it was starting to look a bit scary, but 2 nice shots by Skipper and score their 1, win the game. Well played.
Great. Well, thank you so much for to the Swift Current Curling Club. If any of the spectators tonight that were watching sees any of the sponsors on the ice or on the girls' jackets, definitely look at supporting those businesses, as those businesses support curling. And thanks so much for listening to us this evening.
So the unique thing about Stringham is, although we've grown, we still maintain the small town law feel.
And it's important to Stringham to go into those communities, to provide those high-level legal services to our community members, and to live in those communities, to support those communities, and to help those communities grow and thrive.
Saskatchewan, you know SaskTel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With SaskTel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. SaskTel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sastel.com/sponsorships.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.